What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and I thought it would be a fun video to do to try and kind of predict the lineup of games for Nintendo in 2024. Obviously, we know about some that are coming out, and some we don't even have release dates for. So I want to kind of predict those when I think they're going to come out, like in their months. I'm not going to do the specific day because I think it's just a little bit too hard. But I think trying to predict the month could be a lot of fun. So let's dive into it. So obviously we're in the month of March. We know Princess Peach Showtime is coming out on March 22nd. We also have Mario Day coming this Sunday, which, Mario Day is not typically like a huge deal as far as game announcements go. But I think what's interesting with this year is we don't know the release date of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and we don't know the release date of Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, that are both those remakes that are coming this year. So I think they are going to announce the release dates for those. I think it just kind of makes sense, for them to, because they're not huge. I mean, they're big Nintendo games, but they're not huge games. So I think it's totally fine to just, drop the release date on Twitter on Mario Day. I think that could be really cool. As far as when those games are going to be coming out, I think my prediction is for Luigi's Mansion 2, it's going to come out in May. That gives them 2 months of marketing time. Again, it's a remake. They don't need a ton of time for it to come out. And then I think as far as Paper Mario, I think that is going to come in June. Kind of back-to-back months. Again, remakes of GameCube game, a GameCube game and a 3DS game. I don't think they need a ton of marketing. So I feel like those 2 months make sense for those two games. And then we'll talk about, the rest of the months coming up here in a second. But also, I also think Nintendo is going to drop a demo for Princess Peach Showtime, either on Mario Day on Sunday or maybe even the following Monday. Because I know Nintendo doesn't typically work on the weekends, but Mario Day just happens to fall on a weekend. So I think that could be really good for that game. I think a lot of people are on the fence with that one. To me, it looks really, really kiddie. It doesn't look like it's going to be a very challenging game. And it's obviously full priced, which, I think that's why people are on the fence about it. And I feel like some Nintendo games, are a little bit overpriced, in my eyes. And I feel like a lot of people have that same sentiment as well. I mean, look at Luigi's Mansion 2, like that game looks like it's going to be $60, which is kind of insane. Even Paper Mario, it's that one's $60 as well. So, and obviously this is a brand new IP with Princess Peach Showtime. So, obviously price is subjective. Someone may get more value out of a game, but I feel like that game definitely needs a demo to kind of persuade people to buy it. And hopefully it's really good. Let's talk about what Nintendo hasn't announced yet. So we heard about what Jeff Grubb said on his podcast. I know, roll your eyes now, all these Nintendo insiders, they always get everything wrong. But he had mentioned that he had heard, and this was like an old email that he got or whatever, but that there was going to be something going on in May as far as Metroid Prime 4 is concerned. Nintendo was going to kick off some sort of like marketing thing with Metroid Prime. I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm going to do two predictions here. So if the May thing is real and we get that, I think we're going to get a shadow drop. We'll get a Metroid Prime 4, re-reveal trailer, actual gameplay trailer, all that stuff. And I think we're going to get a release date of October. I think October makes a lot of sense for that. They did that with Dread, and I think that sold pretty well. Obviously, Dread was like the highest selling Metroid game in the franchise history. So I think putting it out in October, right around the holidays, their big holiday title, I think could be awesome. And that gives them plenty of time to do all the marketing that they need up until October if they release it in May. That being said, I also think they're going to shadow drop Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I think they're going to do have them separated, because I don't think they're going to be as well of a remaster as they did with Prime 1. So I think it's going to kind of be like a Pikmin scenario where each game by itself will be 30. They'll shadow drop it on the eShop the same day they announced, you know, the Metro Prime 4 stuff and that event. And then a couple months later, let's say, I don't know, maybe like August, you know, August or September, they can, you know, release the physical version of both of them, and it'll be, you know, $50 or $60 for the pack. I think that makes perfect sense. And then, you know, obviously they could just hold that event off and just do it in their normal June Direct. I think a normal June Direct makes sense because we just got the partner showcase in February, so we haven't had a proper Direct this year, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And also in that June Direct, I think we're finally going to get the Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker games brought over to the Switch. I think that just makes sense. I don't know. I don't think there'll be a dual pack, as a lot of people are hoping. I think they are going to be bundled separately. They're not going to be shadow dropped. I think maybe July for Wind Waker to kind of correlate with summertime. I think that makes perfect sense. And then have Twilight Princess drop the next month in either August or September. I think makes sense for Twilight Princess. I think those games are finally going to come. Obviously, you know, we're in the swan song year of the Switch's life cycle. You know, it was just the Switch's birthday a few days ago, so we're in its 8th year on the market. So I think it makes a lot of sense for those games to finally come out and just be on the Switch, and now we can just play every Zelda game, you know, other than like the CDI games on the Switch, and it'll be awesome. So I think there also could, I don't know if it would fall in the June Direct or even a September Direct, or if it'll be like its own Pokemon, like Pokemon Presents kind of thing. I do think we're getting some sort of Pokemon game this year. There typically always is a Pokemon game. Obviously, we're not going to get a mainline Pokemon game, and we know the next Legends is coming in 2025. But I think we're going to get something Pokemon, some sort of bigger Pokemon game that isn't just a free-to-play game or a mobile game. We'll get some sort of bigger Pokemon game like Pokemon Dungeons. I personally would love for the Pokemon Rangers game to come back. You know, the one where you have to catch the Pokemon by, I know this was on the DS, but you use the stylus to catch around the Pokemon. And I really love that franchise. And I think, I don't know how they would do that on the Switch, but I think that is a cool, you know, cool Pokemon game that needs to come back. So those are my predictions. I'm sure there'll be other games, smaller games are going to come out this year that we don't know about yet, but those are the kind of the bigger ones that I can think of and that makes sense for the final year of Switch. They're not going to have new franchises that are going to come out. They're not going to have any sort of big new Kirby games or big new Mario games. They're going to save all that stuff for the Switch too. So we're not going to get a ton of new stuff. I think we're going to finish it off with remakes, and then have Metroid Prime 4 be the last big Switch game, because that was revealed for the Switch to come out. Obviously, it's had its, you know, delays, and, you know, the developer got switched over, so it's had its issues, but I think that makes sense for that to be the final game. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Does any of that stuff make sense? Do my release dates make sense? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.